Good evening. Tonight, I'd like to tell you a story, not about a child who misbehaves, not about a child who refuses to listen, not about a child who needs to learn to calm down. Tonight is about a child whose nervous system is doing everything it can to simply survive. This is Maya's story, and perhaps it is also the story of someone you love. The sun had not yet climbed over the hills when Maya opened her eyes. The room looked peaceful to everyone else, but inside Maya's world, morning had already arrived with 1,000 tiny explosions. The refrigerator downstairs hummed. Most people never noticed it, but to Maya, it sounded like standing beside a giant airplane preparing for takeoff. The heating vent clicked, the hallway clock ticked, birds called outside, a faucet dripped somewhere across the house. Each sound arrived not one at a time, but all together, like dozens of conversations happening all at once. Imagine walking into a room where every television is turned on, every radio is playing, every light is flashing, while someone asks you to solve a difficult puzzle. That is how ordinary mornings sometimes feel inside Maya's brain. Before breakfast, before school, before anyone has ever even said good morning, her body is already tired. Maya slowly pulled the blanket over her shoulders, not because she was cold, but because the gentle weight helped her know where her body was. Pressure made the world feel smaller, safer, more organized. The blanket didn't remove the noise. It just simply reminded her, I'm here. Downstairs, Mom smiled, good morning. The words were kind, but Maya barely heard them. Not because she wasn't listening, but because her brain was already working overtime, filtering hundreds of other sensations. The spoon against the cereal bowl, the buzzing kitchen light, the refrigerator, the smell of toast, the scratchy tag on her shirt. Her socks felt uneven. One sleeve felt tighter than the other. The chair vibrated every time someone shifted their weight. Her little brother laughed. The dog barked. Someone dropped a fork. Inside Maya's nervous system, every one of those tiny moments demanded equal attention. Nothing could simply fade into the background. Most people have an invisible volume knob. Their brain quickly lowers unimportant sounds. It decides you don't need to notice the refrigerator. You don't need to feel every wrinkle in your socks. You can ignore the flickering light. Maya's volume knob sometimes forgot to turn down. Everything stayed loud. Everything stayed important. Everything arrived all at once. So when someone asked, why are you upset? The answer wasn't one thing, it was everything. By the time Maya reached school, she had already spent hours solving sensory puzzles no one else could see. The school doors opened. Immediately, chairs scraped, children laughed, announcements echoed overhead, backpacks bumped into shoulders, shoes squeaked, perfume mixed with cafeteria smells. Someone cried, someone sang, someone slammed a locker, each sound stacked upon the last, not disappearing, accumulating, like pebbles filling a backpack. One pebble isn't heavy, neither are 10, but eventually even tiny stones become impossible to carry. Her teacher smiled warmly. "Good morning, Maya." Maya wanted to smile back. She truly did, but smiling takes energy. Eye contact takes energy. Listening takes energy. Filtering takes energy. Existing takes energy. And today, her battery had starting the morning. She'd only started half full. The classroom lights flickered ever so slightly. Most people never noticed. Maya noticed every flicker. Each one like lightning flashing behind closed eyelids. She looked away. Someone whispered, "She's ignoring the teacher." She wasn't. She was surviving the lights. During math, the pencil scratching beside her sounded enormous. A classmate bounced a foot, another clicked a pen, someone sniffled, someone tapped. The projector fan spun overhead. Each sound layered into a giant invisible wave. Maya continued solving math problems. She answered correctly. No one realized how much work her brain had already completed before ever even reaching the first question. This is something called masking. Masking is not pretending. Masking is protecting. It is the exhausting work of appearing comfortable while every nerve inside your body feels overwhelmed. Imagine smiling through a migraine. Imagine attending a concert while recovering from the flu. Imagine trying to read while dozens of mosquitoes buzz around your ears. Now imagine doing that every single day. That is masking, and it can be profoundly exhausting. As lunchtime approached, the invisible backpack grew heavier. The cafeteria doors opened. The sounds multiplied instantly. Metal trays, hundreds of conversations, chairs scraping, milk cartons opening, food smells mixing together, laughter echoing from every direction. Too many children. Lunch is exciting, but to Maya, it sometimes felt like standing inside a thunderstorm. Her breath became faster. Her shoulders rose. Her hands covered her ears. Someone looked over, and another child whispered, "She's being dramatic." But Maya wasn't creating the storm. She was caught inside it. When the nervous system reaches its limits, something remarkable happens, or perhaps something completely understandable. The brain stops asking, "What do I want?" and begins asking, "How do I survive?" That is when fight, flight, freeze, or collapse may appear, not as choices, but as biology. Sometimes Maya cried. Sometimes she ran. Sometimes she became very still, and sometimes she shouted. This is what adults call these behaviors. Her nervous system called them emergency exits, and that afternoon, her teacher quietly invited Maya into the sensory room. No demands, no lectures, no questions, just gentle understanding. The room was dim. Soft lights glowed warmly. A beanbag rested in one corner. Noise softened. The air seemed slower somehow. Maya wrapped herself inside a weighted blanket. She closed her eyes, and no one asked her to explain herself. No one asked her to earn the break. No one suggested she calm down, because calm is not something another person can command. Calm grows when safety grows. As her breathing slowed, something beautiful happened, not because someone fixed her, because her nervous system finally received permission to rest. One heartbeat, then another. Her shoulders lowered. Her fingers relaxed. Her mind became quieter, not silent, just quieter. Enough to hear herself again. Sometimes adults believe regulation means becoming quiet, but true regulation means becoming connected. Connected to your body, connected to your breath, connected to safety. Some regulated children laugh loudly. Some regulated children jump. Others softly hum or sit peacefully. Regulation doesn't always look calm. It just feels safe. As school ended, the afternoon sun painted golden colors across the sidewalk. The wind carried leaves gently through the air. Outside, the world finally matched Maya's pace. She noticed butterflies, clouds drifting, the crunch of gravel beneath her shoes. Nature rarely shouted. Nature invited. On the walk home, Grandfather met her beneath an old cottonwood tree. He never asked what happened today. Instead, he said, "What did your body work hard to do today?" Maya thought carefully. My ears worked hard. My eyes worked hard. One person at a time. That evening, the house became quieter. Lights dimmed. The refrigerator still hummed. The clock still ticked. The world had not changed, but Maya had learned something important. She no longer believed she was broken. She understood. Her nervous system simply experienced the world more intensely. That intensity came with challenges, but it also came with gifts. She noticed tiny details others missed. She remembered patterns. She heard birds before anyone else. She felt kindness deeply. She loved completely. She saw beauty hiding in ordinary places. As stars appeared outside her window, Maya climbed beneath her favorite blanket. She listened carefully. The refrigerator still hummed, but tonight it sounded, and it seemed far away. Not because it disappeared, because safety had become louder. The steady rhythm of breathing, the weight of blankets, the memory of Grandfather's words, the quiet confidence that tomorrow she would not have to face the noise alone. If you are listening tonight, perhaps you know someone like Maya. Perhaps you are Maya. Perhaps your own nervous system quietly carries invisible pebbles every day. If so, may you remember this. People are rarely struggling because they want to struggle. Children rarely melt down because they enjoy chaos. Most nervous systems are doing exactly what they were designed to do: protect, adapt, and survive. Sometimes the greatest kindness we can offer another human being is not another lesson, not another correction, not another demand for compliance. Sometimes the greatest gift is helping their nervous system discover safety. Because when a person finally feels safe, they often discover they were never difficult. They were simply overwhelmed. As the moon rises higher and the world becomes quieter, Imagine setting down every invisible pebble you've carried today. The sounds, the expectations, the worries, the effort of pretending everything was fine. Let them rest. Your nervous system has worked hard. It deserves gentleness. It deserves understanding, and above all, it deserves peace. Sleep well. You are safe. You are enough. And tomorrow, the world will always be brighter when we choose curiosity before judgment. Good night. If this story brought you peace, consider subscribing for more calming stories that help us understand exceptional children and ourselves with curiosity before judgment.